Sihan is an influential and wealthy man who cannot walk and is confined to a wheelchair due to a leg injury. Back in the city, he rushes to an important business meeting, but his car gets into an accident, hitting a charming girl at an intersection. Taking care of her, Siang and his assistant immediately take her to the hospital. Upon waking up, Siang was embarrassed and refused compensation. After recognizing the time, she rushed home, but the accident made her feel dizzy and the girl fell right into the man's lap, creating an awkward situation. Being a true gentleman, he gave her a ride home where Siang heard shouting and arguing. As it turned out, her mother was being harassed by a woman and her daughter, claiming they had the right to live in their house since Siang and Sinshin shared the same father. Protecting her mother, the girl pushes the strangers away, calling them imposters. Enraged, Sinshin grabs a shard of broken crockery and attacks her to take her life. At the last moment, Sayan's assistant appears and stops the aggressive girl, whereupon a rich man appears in the room. As it turns out, he went after Xiang because she forgot her purse in the car. An insolent woman named Jiang tries to continue the argument with Xiang's family, but the assistant does not allow her to speak and warns her of the possible consequences of the conflict. Realizing that the powerful Sitan will not allow her to get what she wants, Jiang falls to the floor and grabs a shard of broken crockery, threatening her life. Xiang's mother is alarmed, but the girl lets the woman take her own life. She's not afraid that there will be a lot of blood in the room, as there are many of them, and they will clean up all traces. Xian's assistant recorded the blackmail and threats on a video camera, so Jiang's plan fails. Realizing this, she and her daughter leave, and Xiang's mother gets sick. As the man and his assistant leave, Xiang hurries after them to thank her savior. Xiang unexpectedly asks the girl's age, which shocks the assistant, since the businessman has never been interested in other beauty's personal information before. The assistant assumes that his boss has fallen in love, but the man is afraid to show his feelings openly. Xiang tries to explain that they are responsible for the accident, but it turned out that she was the one who ran out into the road at a red traffic light. Feeling awkward, the girl allows herself to be hit, but Xiang is a true gentleman and is not capable of such a thing. Noticing a bug on her leg, Xiang gets scared and accidentally sits on the man, which seems very cute and romantic. After stating that she will owe him a favor, Xiang leaves her business card. In the evening, he waits for a message and assumes that the girl could not find his cell phone number. The assistant notices Xiang's agitation, but the man again feigns indifference. After receiving a cute bedtime message from Xiang, he smiles, finding her quite interesting. At the same time, the message for the girl was not given easily, because she was very afraid, but decided because of sympathy for the rude and callous Xiang. A little later, the girl hears that her parents are quarreling because of Jiang and Xingshan appearing in their house. Xiang is the adopted daughter of her father, who had a family before his marriage to her mother. Now the father's ex-wife and his daughter want a kinship as their family is very rich and does not deny themselves anything. Realizing that her mother is weak and cannot stand up for herself, Xiang asks her father to never see his ex-wife and daughter again. Being a non-relative, she dictates terms to protect her only loved one and asks her father to write an oath, notarizing it. Seizing the opportunity, Xiang wants to work for the family's company, but her father only offers her a position as a waitress in one of their restaurants. Sometime later, Xiang starts working as a waitress when she suddenly meets Sitan. Confused, the girl does not immediately understand what to say to the man, as he suddenly asks if she is really going to marry the son of the Lin family. Not realizing what he was talking about, Xiang abruptly remembered that her parents wanted her to marry a worthy man and they had an appointment with the Lin family just today. Hoping to prevent this from happening, the girl runs away, and Xiang becomes depressed, believing that it won't be long before she becomes a married woman. At the same time, Xiang's father continues to spend time with his ex-wife in order to better accommodate his own daughter Xinshan. Xian would like to write a message to Xiang and ask if she will reply with her consent to the son of the Lin family, but is afraid to intrude into the girl's private life. Meanwhile, the girl hurries home, where she meets her parents and Mr. Lin. She tries to interfere with what is happening, as she suddenly meets her fiancé Ji, whom she has not seen for many years. The families decide to make a business marriage between the children to unite the business and are ready to hold the engagement tomorrow so that Ji and Xiang can be married by the end of the year. Not sure what she should do, the girl invites the guy to her room and offers to sit closer. She asks him to undress and even helps him unbutton his shirt, but at the same time she is in no hurry to kiss Ji, who is in love with her. At the most inopportune moment, Xinchen writes to the guy, and it turns out that Ji is dating his half-sister Qiang. Acting according to the plan, the girl continues to seduce her future husband, after which she punches him in the face. Ji likes it and asks to do it again, so Xiang hits him again. Thinking that the girl was too rough, the guy offers to do some nice surprise. Xiang asks him to close his eyes, after which he hits Ji even harder. Falling on the bed, the girl screams and calls for help, imitating that the guy wanted to take her by force. Xiang makes herself look like a victim, causing Ji to get punched in the face by her father. Not wanting to be a part of all this, the guy offers to dissolve the marriage contract, much to the delight of Xiang, who originally started the whole thing just to get rid of her fiancé. After Ji leaves, Xiang decides to follow him. The girl escorts him to the hotel and finds out which floor the guy went up to in order to find out who he is dating. Acting cautiously and using disguise, Xiang spots Ji in the arms of his half-sister and takes some compromising photos. Determined to help the couple become happily married, Xiang orders a bottle of wine to their room to help Ji and Xinchen's romantic relationship. Taking into account the customer's wishes, the hotel employee chooses an expensive but very effective wine that can bring the couple in love closer together. Xiang is not afraid for money. After all, she is from a rich family, so she asks to fulfill her order as soon as possible and keep it a complete secret that it was she who made the order. The manager does exactly as Xiang ordered. The lovers Xiang and Ji have a drink, after which they give in to temptation and make love. Xiang overhears what is going on, but finds herself in an awkward position as she is met by Xian and his assistant in the hallway. The girl is embarrassed that they met here by chance, but it turns out that Xian was purposefully following her and this hotel is his property. Confused by what is happening, Xiang tries to run away, but the man stops her to ask her what she said to Ji. Not daring to ask such a question, he lets Xiang go and learns that she was eavesdropping at the door of the room that Ji rented. The next morning, the girl has to go to the restaurant where her engagement is to take place. She is not nervous, as she knows for sure that Tis has had too much to drink and is unlikely to get out of bed to come to the ceremony and become her fiancé. A few hours later, Tis wakes up and notices that his phone has been disconnected. Realizing it's too late, the guy rushes to the engagement party, but he can hardly stand on his feet because of the wine. Xinchen tries to stop his lover, but he has to adhere to his parents' demands and pretend that he wants to be Xiang's husband. Taking advantage of Ji not showing up, Xiang announces that there will be no engagement and the guests can disperse. Mr. Lin asks to wait and attributes his son's delay to traffic jams, but Xiang knows for sure that Ji is at the hotel with another girl and proves it by showing a photo of them together on the big screen. Xiang also declares that her heart is now free and all unmarried men can claim to marry her. At that moment, Xian appears in the hall with his assistant and declares that he is ready to be the first to bid for Xiang's hand and heart. The girl's father is so inspired that he gives his consent instead of his daughter, but it is her opinion that matters to the powerful businessman. Xiang hesitates and asks him to give her time to think about it. Xihan is a little offended by this answer, because he believes that the girl does not want to marry him solely because of her disability. At the same time, Mr. Lin beats up his son for missing the opportunity to marry the charming Xiang. Unable to endure such treatment, Ji runs away, never to see his father again. Her father asks Xiang to agree to become Xian's wife because he is incredibly rich and it will help their family's business. The girl wants to make her own decision and does not obey her father, especially since he is not her family. A couple of days later, Ji tracks down Xiang and attacks her, having guessed that she sent wine to his and Xinchen's room. Unable to catch up with the girl, he insults her mother and gets punched in the face. Determined to retaliate in kind, he takes a swing at Xiang, but Xian's assistant stops him and beats up Ji. Realizing that he can't compete with the rich man, Ji leaves and Xian asks Xiang out on a date. The couple goes to a restaurant that the rich man has rented just for the two of them. Left alone, Sihan asks the girl if she has thought about his proposal. Xiang starts to be sly, and the man assumes that she wants to turn him down because of her leg problems. At the same time, Xiang assumes that the businessman is too rich to seriously want to be the husband of a simple girl like her. She begins to justify the potential rejection with age and material status, but none of that matters to the man. Realizing that she can't find a reason to refuse, Sihan accepts it as an agreement to become his wife. After dinner, the girl offers to compensate, but Sihan reminds her that she is his fiancée. Embarrassed, the girl tries to run away but hits her head on a tree and falls on a man in a wheelchair. He finds this amusing and asks Xiang not to be nervous, as she will be his wife anyway. Meanwhile, Ji finds comfort in Xinqian's arms and complains about her half-sister's behavior. Enraged, the girl orders that her sister be taken away from her life. Not having enough money, she asks the hoodlums to make Xiang cry. The next morning, the two thugs go to a restaurant and provoke a scandal with the waitress, then douse her with water. After humiliating Xiang and making her cry, the bullies promise that this is just the beginning. After calling the girl and hearing her crying, Xiang promises to come to her restaurant immediately. Once there, the man takes Xiang to his home so she can calm down and clean up. A little later, he gives the girl a snow-white dress and invites her to dinner. Xian asks Xiang to call him by his first name, but she is too embarrassed as she has a deep respect for him. Offended, the man begins to ignore the beauty when she addresses him as a gentleman. Realizing that she needs to get used to being his fiancée, Xiang learns to call Xian by his first name. She hides her problems at the restaurant, but Shihan has no intention of leaving her unprotected and summons Chui to guard the girl. Xiang's father is seeing his mistress despite vowing not to. Jiang offers to divorce and get a share in his wife's family's business, but this is impossible because her father forced him to sign an unfavorable prenuptial agreement. At night, a man sneaks into his wife's bedroom to conduct a search, but Xiang notices him. Making his way out of the situation, the father claims that he stays up at night and reads books. Xiang doesn't trust his father much, guessing that he's looking for something. The next morning, shortly before meeting Xiang, the girl finds a small kitten and decides to take it with her. The man is shocked when he sees the kitten, but won't admit that he is allergic to animals. Xiang can't take the kitten home as the mother doesn't like animals. Xian agrees to take him in and helps him choose a name, as he loves the girl and is willing to do anything for her. A little later, the girl goes to martial arts training to learn how to defend herself. She does not do well at first, but 3 weeks later she becomes a real fighter. After entrusting her kitten to Sehen, she returns to the restaurant where she is accosted by the same hooligans. Without doubting her strength, Xiang boldly answers the men and then beats them up, driving them out of the restaurant once and for all. Xian treats the girl's wounds and offers to stay with him for the night. She refuses, but the man does not let her go and brings her back to his place. The couple kisses, after which the businessman insists that Xiang spend the night at his place, since there is no assistant and no one will be able to take her home. Giving in, the girl stays at Xian's house, while he and Shua find the bullies who were paid not only by Xianqian, but also by Ji. Seeing the rich man in a wheelchair, Ji promises to pay generously for the bullies to beat him up. Realizing that Xian is a highly respected man, they take the money from Tis and then beat him, trying to lead the formidable businessman. Upon returning home, Xian lies in the same bed with Xiang. This greatly embarrasses the girl, but the man won't let her get out of bed as she is his future wife and they must sleep together. When Xiang wakes up in the morning, she looks at the man and realizes that she has fallen in love with him. When Xiang wakes up, the girl is embarrassed as she is too close to him, leaving most of the bed empty. Soon the couple goes to breakfast, where they enjoy a romantic moment without the aide noticing. Back home, Xiang learns that her mother is being blackmailed and has become disillusioned with her traitor husband. The girl supports her mother in a difficult moment, after which she returns to the rich man's house. She treats him to chocolate and Xiang greedily eats the candy, forbidding her to feed it to other men. Embarrassed, Xiang runs away and meets her sister, whose conversation with her ends in another conflict. Xiang attacks her stepsister, but an aide helps push the girl away, causing her to fall to the lawn. In an attempt to put the bully in her place, Xiang smears mud on her stepsister's face. Xiang is glad that his fiancée knows how to stand up for herself, but asks her not to waste any more time on such people. In turn, Xingqian promises to take revenge on Xiang and dreams of taking her life. After the incident, Xiang asks the girl about her feelings for him, assuming that she is in love. Severely embarrassed, Xiang says that they are friends, the same as with his assistant. The pair are noticed by Xian's little niece and realize why it's been so long since her uncle came to visit. King says that Xiang and Xiang are right for each other, then helps them overcome their fear. Placing the girl's hand in her uncle's hand, King nudges Xiang into his arms and runs away. Xian invites Xiang to a business party and asks her to accompany him as if they were a couple. She wishes she could refuse, but cannot do so as she must fulfill the man's every wish in exchange for a duty with her rescue. Meanwhile, her father, along with his mistress, dreams of robbing his wife and her father's company to start living a rich life without his unloved wife and adopted Xiang. Xingqian returns home and tells her parents that Xiang has beaten her. Wanting justice, the father returns home and demands that the adopted daughter apologize to her half-sister. Xiang is able to stand up for herself, as she doesn't consider the man a father. He wants to hit her for disobedience, but the mother defends her daughter, suggesting that her husband divorce her and forget each other once and for all. Afraid of losing access to his wife's family's money, the man refuses to divorce and asks her to forgive him for his temper. Despite Yimin's remorse, Yun does not believe her husband and insists on divorce. Xiang and her mother meet with a lawyer to resolve the impending divorce. Yun wants to audit the company and enlists the help of an old family friend, but he works for Yimin and informs him of his wife's plans. Soon after, Xiang finds herself in an underground parking lot and notices that someone is following her. Frightened, the girl tries to run away as she is suddenly tugged by someone on her shoulder from behind. Assuming that it is a maniac, she tries to defend herself, but it turns out to be Xian and his assistant. The businessman has organized a surprise for the girl and takes her to a boutique where she can choose a beautiful evening dress. At that moment, the couple is being filmed, but Chuan notices this and takes away the phone, threatening the man who is following them. As they spend more and more time together, Xian and Xiang are finally convinced that they have fallen in love with each other. She is afraid to confess her feelings but kisses the man on the cheek. Chu then informs her that Xiang is in trouble and needs help with her family problems. At the same time, the girl and her mother go to the office, where they are purposely held while Yiming searches the house for a contract. Realizing that the office worker is tricking them, Xiang and the mother leave. Yiming finds the documents and tears them into small pieces, flushing the contract down the toilet. Upon returning home, Yun forces her husband to sign the divorce papers and tries to find the prenuptial agreement, only to suddenly discover that there are blank pieces of paper in the envelope. Yiming has no intention of leaving home as the contract stated. Xiang upsets him by stating that she has the original contract. The man tears open another envelope, but it turns out that this too is only a copy of the document. Yiming thinks he has won anyway as he has transferred all the company's assets to another account, but it turns out that Xiang managed to freeze his account minutes before. When Xiang and her mother were in the office, Sahan and his assistant found them and exposed the traitor. Shortly before the conflicts, the businessman had not only bought some shares in Xiang's family's company, but also froze Yimin's assets, suspecting that he would betray his family. Having lost the war, the man asks to be given at least a paycheck. Having been refused, he attacks Xiang to tear up the divorce agreement. At the moment of the fight, Sahan and his assistant appear in the room. The businessman persistently asks Yimin to leave his future wife's house once and for all, and Yimin has to accept it. A little later, Sahan asks for his brother's approval with Xiang, and Yun gives her consent for her daughter to become the wife of the man who loves her. Xiang is greatly embarrassed as she still hasn't responded to the businessman's proposal. In turn, he reminds her of the party tomorrow, warning that it will not actually be a meeting of businessmen, but their engagement party. A little later, Xiang is trying on a dress and preparing for the engagement party when suddenly Chua comes to her. He informs her that Mr. Xian is delayed as he urgently needs to meet his father. Realizing that the groom is not in touch, the girl worries, believing that something has happened to him. Taking what is happening to heart, Xiang comes out to the guests with tears in her eyes. Her mother reassures and supports her daughter, believing that there is nothing wrong with Xiang and that he is on his way. Alone with her thoughts, Xiang confesses that she is in love with Sihan and wants to be with him for the rest of her life. A few moments later, Sihan appears in the audience and does so spectacularly, as he doesn't arrive in a wheelchair, but is up on his feet. As it turns out, from the first day he met Xiang, he has been training hard and doing everything he can to get back to a full life for her. Remembering the happy moments, the couple announces their engagement and soon get married.